Now I will show you how to export products from Shopify store to a file. So by default, you have your Shopify admin has this product section where you can export all the products. I have some sample products here. You can select them all and do the export to the CSV format, and then it allows you to download these products and work with the CSV files like this. But there's a better way, and I will show you how you can take your Shopify products export to a whole new level using the Excelify app for Shopify. So let me just close this file and switch over to the Excelify app. And here, among the other things, you can see that you can do the new export and select your whole store contents, but this time we'll concentrate on products. And there, when you select to export the products, you can choose whether to export the basic columns or include the collections for each product to show in which collections this product exists, either in smart or automated collections or in custom collections, which are manual collections. Then you can, of course, include the inventory variants, the variant cost, the customs information like your HS code and so on, the multi-location inventory levels, which are included as separate columns for each of your location inventory. Then, of course, the images, and as well the meta fields and variant meta fields, which where each meta field will have its own column in the exported file. And then you can scroll down to select the format. Excelify allows you to export to different formats, but the most convenient if you want to just see your whole product data is to choose Excel file. And then you can add some additional options like schedule the export at specific time and repeat it let's say every day or every 5 minutes and so on. And you can even, like, the good thing to combine is like if you assign a custom file name for your export, then if you do the repeated export, let's say every day, your exported file will always have the same public URL so that you can download them or like automatically import to your ERP system or in Google Sheets or wherever. And you can also, like, by default it comes as an Excel file, but if you, for example, if you are exporting to CSV format, you can uncheck this box to not zip the CSV file so that it will be always plain text CSV file, or if you zip it, it will be smaller. But of course, I suggest you start with Excel so that you can always have it in most convenient way to be open in Excel and edited. And of course, you can import it back if you have changed any data. And you can also automatically upload your files, your exports to the FTP or SFTP server if you have one. But for now, we will not do that. I'll just remove these so that I can just show you basically what the export is doing. So we click the export, and here in comparison to Shopify default export, you can of course have much more columns, and you can see what's happening with your export at any given moment. Like if you have hundreds of thousands of products to export at any given moment, you can see how far it's been going, and you can cancel it if you changed your mind and need to change some columns. And also note that some of the groups of columns have this slow indication for them, which means that they take a bit slower to export than usual, because Excelify needs to do several requests for each product to compile this data for you. Alright, so the export has finished, and we can download the exported file and look inside what's there. So first thing that you can notice is that you have the ID field, which means that it's the Shopify internal identifier for each product. And so that way, if you have these IDs, you can surely know that if the ID is the same, then it's the same product. For example, if you import them in your ERP system or need to reference this product in any other way uniquely. Like for example, having this ID allows you to update the handles later on. So if you would change the handle and import it back, Excelify would be able to identify this product by ID and change your handles. Then comes the command column, which is specific to Excelify. So you can give different commands like delete or replace or update to your product when you import it back. Then is the body HTML, the vendor, the type, the tags. These are also like typical to Shopify export, but then as I mentioned, Excelify has a lot of additional fields that you can work with. For example, the tags command. Also the same way you can work with those tags, like you can merge them with existing tags, or you can delete specific tags from your products when importing. Then you can see when the product was created, when it was updated, whether it's published, when it was published, the date, the published scope, where it is published, in which whether it's in the web or in POS or in both. So the template suffix, that's for your theme, where like different products could have different templates. So you can see what the templates are and actually change them and import back. Also, you can see the URL of each of your products. Then you can see the custom collections, which I mentioned earlier, in which custom collections this product exists. So these are the handles of the collections, comma separated. For example, here you can see that this product is in 3 custom collections, which are basically the manual collections. And then the smart collections. So you see in which automated collections this product exists. Also, it's a comma separated. And if, for example, if the product handle and ID repeats across several rows, by this you know that it's one product, just it's taking up several rows for because of the images or variants. Then you can see the row number, which is essentially in this file in which position you have each row. For example, if you for some reason change the sorting of your products and then you need to import them back, you can easily just come to the row number and sort by row number, and you will be guaranteed to have the same sequence of products again. The top row indicates whether it's like the first row for this product or it's the additional rows. This is important if you are editing the body HTML. You need to make sure that it's always on the top row of each product, because as I mentioned, product takes up several rows, but body HTML, since it's usually a long text, it's being saved only for the first row. And again, if you just sort by row number, usually it puts those all in the correct places. And other tricks you can do with the top row, for example, you can apply filters, and for example you want to change only the top rows, so you just filter to have them only and work with them, and then remove your filters when you are done. So then there is the image source, as usually also in Shopify export, but then there is an additional column which is like the image command, which also when importing back, you can give different commands to your images. Like the merge is by default, so when you import back, it like when it has a new image which is not existing in the product, then it will add it to the product. If it already exists, then it will not change it. Also, you can have the delete command or replace, which you can read about in our other tutorials on our website. Then there is an image position where you can see the position inside that particular product where the product is, and of course you can change them. You can see the image width and height, which is specific to Excelify export. Then there is image alt text, which exists in Shopify export as well, but you can change those and import back. Then there is the variant. Basically, by the colors, you can see that these are like groups of different columns, and the green ones are the variant columns. Then there comes the variant inventory item ID and the variant ID. So these allows you to identify uniquely the inventory item and the variant by the ID. Also, it has the variant command where you can merge variants, you can delete specific variants when importing back, or replace entire set of variants by importing back. Then there is the option. Option columns are these. These usually need to be looked at together. Like there is the option 1 name and the option 1 value. Then there is option 2 name. These are like, for example, the color might be the option 1. So we put the color as a name and the color itself goes as the value. Then comes the size, for example, with the size values, and then the finish and then the value. Of course, you can have any name and value for any of those options. Just remember that they come in pairs, like name and value, name and value. And then there is a variant position, so you can see what is the position of this variant inside that product, and you can also change it and import back. It will change the positions of your products, of your variants. And there is a variant SKU, the barcode, the variant image. Also note how variant barcodes, although those are large numbers, if you work with CSV by the default Shopify export, usually those numbers get really scrambled. They get like a scientific form, and it's very hard to import them back correctly. So working with Excel and Excelify will always guarantee that you have those barcodes as a text, and you can change them and import them back, and all the leading zeros here will remain, and so on. Okay, then the variant image. Of course, you can see what image is this variant having. So then the variant weight and the weight unit. And here comes the those customs fields, like variant HS code for your customs information. Then there is a country of origin, also for the customs. The variant price, the variant compare at price, which is like if your item is on a sale, then you can put the new discounted price as the variant price and the original higher price as the compare at price. The variant cost is like the cost of goods. Then the true or false for whether the variant is taxable or not, and the tax code for your accounting system. Usually it's Avalara if you are using it in United States or Canada. Then the inventory tracker, which is by default the Shopify, but you can change it to other tracking services. The inventory policy, deny, is whether it allows you to oversell the item, right? And deny means that it will not allow to oversell. And for the other options, you can see our documentation So the variant fulfillment service is how it's being fulfilled. At the moment it's manual, but you can also attach the fulfillment services and set their handle here. Then whether the variant requires shipping. Then comes the variant inventory quantity and the inventory adjust. So, and these work like in pairs. Like if you want to set your quantity to a specific value, then you just set the value. But if you want to adjust it by the specific number, then you can enter the value here, but you can't have them both. For example, like if you want to adjust your quantity by 10, then you need to clear this out, so that it's just adjusting, not setting the specific value. And also you can see here comes those columns which are for the multi-location inventory. And here we can see that in this address all those items are stocked. And again, if you are importing data with those filled in, then those two columns will get ignored, because those are like totals of inventory across all your locations. So if you want to set specific quantity at specific location, you can do those through these inventory available and like the location name columns. These are coming from your Shopify store, of course. And yeah, also these come in pairs, like there is inventory available columns for each location, and then there is adjust columns. You see, inventory available adjust for each of your locations. So again, by the same principle, you can if you set the quantity for adjustment, then you need to remove the value for the absolute quantity when importing. And then comes the blue fields. Those are the meta fields, and you can see that, for example, this one has a prefix, the variant meta field. Then comes the meta field name and its type. At this time, it's string. So these are these HS codes saved in meta fields. For example, this meta field, this was a variant meta field, so the value is against each variant row here. But these are the product level meta fields. For example, this is the SEO description, and that one has a value for only the top row. So if you would filter again the top rows, you would see that only the top rows have the values. And also when you import them back, you set the value only in the top row. Then, for example, like just for sake of playing around with the meta fields to demonstrate, this is a product level meta field again, and see that it has a dot here. So it's this specs dot range. So it means that this meta field exists in the specs namespace, and its name is a range. So this dot separates the namespace, and its type is integer. And of course you can have like the types, the string, the integer, and the JSON string, which is the JSON object. Also about importing and exporting meta fields, you can see in our other tutorials and on our website. And also here is the export. So here are basically the two sheets. One is the products themselves, and the other is the export summary, where you can see what did you actually export. So you exported products with these additional details included, and whether you applied any filters. So at the moment you didn't apply any filters, but you could, and what was the count. And I forgot to tell you that you can, when you do the export, you can apply the filters here. Here's the filters button, and you can choose very different specific things, how you want to filter those products. like for example by tags, you can even choose like the how you would like the tags contain any of the following, or they contain all of the tags, or none of the tags, or they are equal to any of those, or equal to all of those tags, or not equal to any of those tags, and like very, very detailed filters. The same kind of things for the SKUs, and even you can filter by the collection, and you can say that, okay, I want all products which are in the collection, and specify whether the collection ID or handle or title, and you can comma separate them, like collection 1, collection 2, and so on. Or very interesting filter is that if you want to export all the products which are not in specific collection, basically. Yeah, so the same with price and so on. And of course you can export any other kind of items using Excelify the same way. All right. I guess I'll see you later. Bye.